Perfect. And welcome back to Sister Soul Sessions, where we elevate entrepreneurs one soulful conversation at a time. Today's guest is a man who turned movement into a mission and culture into an experience. We're sitting down with Jonathan Mark, founder of Trill on Wheels, one of Houston's most unique mobile luxury experiences. What started as a vision has become a brand rooted in culture, family, hustle, and purpose. Jonathan, welcome to Sister Soul Sessions. If you wouldn't mind taking a little moment just to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Trill on Wheels.
Absolutely. Thank you for that warm introduction. I
Yeah,
love the luxury feel to it. That's good. I'm gonna have to steal that one.
no problem.
For sure, for sure. But yeah, I am born and raised here in Houston. I'm one of the guys who is super passionate about all things our city. So from sports to music to culture, it's a really big part of my life, and it's always been, which just kind of led us to this point in my journey. So just happy to kind of share our story and what we're doing here with our tours.
Yes, we're so excited. Now, like you stated, Houston has a culture all its own.
Yeah.
What did you see missing that made you say, like, I need to build this?
Yeah, party bikes have existed around the country for a few decades now. It's
Hmm.
always been a thing, mainly like in Nashville, in Arizona, and I've been aware of them. But what I noticed was there was very minimal representation from people that look like me and you on
Mm,
these bikes. Most of the time, there were women only, and bachelorette groups, and
very
they
true.
did not look like us. So I felt like there was a need, there was a void. This was an experience that I wanted to have, but I kind of felt excluded.
Hmm.
So, taking in my this natural passion for all things Houston, my love for being outside and having a good
Yeah.
time, and also storytelling. We're based in Third Ward, which is one of the historic Black neighborhoods in Houston. So being able to tell the story of Third Ward and
Mm,
the story of our music artists that come from the neighborhood, that come from the city, and being able to celebrate, birthdays, special ed parties,
mhm.
major life events, and connect people. That was something that is deeply rooted in our tour and in our mission. So, we launched in March of 2022 with just a lot of support from the city and a lot of support from folks coming in from all over the country. And, we're not stopping. So we're just going to keep on going.
Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. I love that you've incorporated actually learning about, where people sometimes are visiting, or even people have been there, while you're having fun, make this an educational and experience that you learn about, our culture and definitely the Houston culture and what built that city. It sounds like, Trill on Wheels was born from strategy, necessity, and moment of inspiration. What would you say was that like true moment in 2022 that really got you to start this?
So that moment actually happened in 2021. So,
Okay.
this kind of ties into my faith and my belief system, which is rooted in God. My wife and I were fasting, and we were also expecting our first child, my son. And,
Wow.
so I went into provider mode. I was thinking of
Yeah.
ways to bring in more cash for the family. And again, going back to seeing that need, that void, and a light bulb kind of went off. I saw
Mhm.
an opportunity to, bring something very unique to the tourism space and, like my name says, disrupt that industry. So I spent all of 2021 planning, prepping, getting things ready for launch. I approached it very strategically because this is something very new to us. So I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure that I represented our culture well, that uh, you know, pull out all the stops. I wanted to have that luxury feel. I wanted it to be, we do have a stigma when it comes to Black owned businesses. I definitely wanted to shed all that and make sure that we had a customer service experience that was top notch, that everything was done professionally. So
Right.
spent all of 2021 with prepping our branding, our go to market strategy, and just making sure that the customer felt like family when they walked away from the tour. And like I said, in March of 2022, we came out and we hit a home run. And we sold out
Beautiful.
every single seat for the first 2 years. So
Wow.
it was a complete blessing. But that taking that year off, not just rushing,
Hmm.
treating it like a gift, and
Yeah.
watering it daily, working on it daily. I still had my full time job. At that point I had a newborn baby.
Yeah. Oh.
newly married as well. So just balancing all those things and making sure that we came correct because I wanted to give y'all something that y'all will remember.
Right. Now, what a true test of faith and testament of, you walking in that path and you guys believing it. But when you first told others about this vision, what was their reaction to it?
That was another thing that gave me just a ton of confidence because
Mm.
every time I told somebody about what I was working on, I got nothing but support.
Oh,
Everybody
wow.
was like, "That's a good idea." No,
Yeah.
there were no detractors, and I was expecting like hesitancy. There's a party bike.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah. Like
know.
who? Yeah. How long is that going to
Yeah,
last? People are.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And our bikes are very unique. Our bikes kind of
Hmm.
look like the slabs or the custom cars that you see in Houston with the neon lights and
Yeah.
the vinyl wrap and the swangers, the rims, and all those things. So, I didn't know how people were going to take to that.
Hmm.
But again, nothing but support, nothing but keep going, motivation. People were saying that I was inspiring them, following through on my dreams and taking this idea and actually executing it. So
Yeah. Because it's
that
so
was
different.
that was
Yeah.
like the majority of the conversations I was having. So even when things were extremely hard and I didn't know like what step to take next, my friends, my family, my wife, they were all in full support. And I'm talking to strangers about it and telling them what I
Oh,
got
I love
going,
that.
and they're like, "Oh man, I
Yeah.
can't wait to see it." So yeah, yeah, got
Well,
a
that's
lot of support.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's very rare, especially in the beginning of building something so different. You're the
yeah,
only person really doing it, like you said. Um, from our backgrounds that in the city, so that is amazing that you had that support.
yeah.
In those times when you were building it, going through that year, what did you have to believe about yourself before anyone else believed in the concept?
Yeah, the biggest thing was I've always been a very creative person. My background is in
Hmm.
marketing. Prior to going into entrepreneurship, I had some pretty high level marketing roles at Pandora, at Uber, and at a big ad agency out in San Francisco. So creativity and tapping into that right brain or that right side of my brain has
Perfect.
always been like a natural thing for me.
Yeah.
But I'm also kind of shiny object. I'll get distracted.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
stray from the goal, and I'll work on something and run into a big roadblock, and I'll come back
Mhm.
to it later.
Right.
So that was the biggest problem or a roadblock that I had to overcome. It wasn't necessarily all these external things that I had to figure out. It was
Yeah.
me persevering and having that grit to keep on going when even though the road was very unclear for me, and
Yeah.
actually finishing something. That was something that I struggled with in the past. Actually finishing the job, finishing the work.
Mhm.
Not just working.
Yeah. When you're
Just work.
creative, everything
Absolutely, yeah.
comes. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, finishing the job, following through, taking
Mm.
action every single day, not getting discouraged, and or not letting that discourage trap you. That was the biggest thing.
No, yeah, that's so true, especially when you have that creativity and you're used to being able to put a time limit on how long you're working on something. Like you always had deadlines for this to be, this is going to take as long as it's going to take for me to accomplish the goal.
Yeah,
So yeah, I can see why that's such a different turn of events for your mind and your
yeah,
thinking. But it's here, you created it and you made it very Houston.
yeah.
Like, what are some things though about creating such a niche business that people often romanticize about creating that you realize is like the real work?
Yeah, dealing with legislation here in the city,
Mm.
politicians, city ordinances, understanding the rules of operating this type of vehicle
Oh, right.
within the city. That's something that I had to, kind of figure out.
Yeah.
The mechanical elements of a party bike itself is extremely complicated.
Mm.
The party bike in itself is not just, I can't just go to the local
Yeah,
mechanic.
bike shop. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't just go to a bike shop and get things fixed up like I wanted. Everything is proprietary, or there's e-bike
Mhm.
parts, there's boat parts, there's bicycle parts, there's actually car parts. There's a
Oh,
lot of different mechanisms and different type of mechanics that kind of have like a Frankenstein feel to the party bike
yeah.
itself. So and then also like I'm doing my own spin on it. I put my own branding. So how do I vinyl wrap this thing? How do I get
Mhm.
the type of rims that I want, and these low profile tires onto this bike. Um, so, just figuring out all these different elements, teaching myself how to fix the bike and navigate these things, bringing in outside help, guys who
Yeah.
are just as passionate about, their specific craft, and, building like a little team of my own just to kind of get these bikes
Mm.
up and running. That was the work. That was like the
Yeah.
grind, figuring
Yeah, I
that
didn't
part.
think about all of those steps. So you're just like, oh, this is fun. You can just get out on the road. But yeah,
Nah,
you don't
nah.
think about that insurance, I'm sure. It's crazy, all
Insurance,
kinds.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a lot for sure.
Yeah, so we get to see all the fun. So I appreciate all the hard work because yeah, I did not think about
Mhm.
especially in the city that you're in, and it's such a large city, big for attractions, things like that. I'm sure it's a lot of red tape on
Yeah.
making sure you're able to operate.
Mhm.
So yeah, some things that you really have to consider. With that in mind, what has been your most expensive lesson so far, either financially or emotionally?
Okay, the most expensive lesson, let's think. It wasn't I haven't had like too many just like crazy costs. We do have, heavy expenses that we incur monthly, but oh, okay. Um, we got evicted from our first place. Our first meeting location, we got
Yeah,
evicted. That
yeah.
was a really big like shakeup.
Wow.
That happened in year two. We were renting a parking lot from a local bank. Things were going well. We were making payments every single month. It wasn't anything financial or anything
Yeah.
at all. But because of our demand was so crazy high, I
Wow.
immediately needed to get that second bike.
Yeah.
So that second bike we had it custom built, but they built the bike too tall and too wide. Uh,
Mhm.
at the beginning of our tours, or excuse me, at the beginning of the business, we were holding our bikes in shipping containers. These shipping containers can fit a normal size party bike, and we were pulling it out and then putting it back in at
Oh,
the end.
right. Yeah.
But that second bike wouldn't fit. So I had to actually build a barn, like
Oh,
essentially like a
yeah.
large external structure to now hold both bikes. I reached out to our landlord, which was the bank, and asked for permission. I sent them plans and sketches and all those things, and didn't get a response for a month.
Oh my
Following
gosh.
up, making
Yeah.
calls, we still didn't get anything. But I'm like, man, like I need to move forward with this. So I just did it, and thinking that it wouldn't be, such a big deal, because at
Yeah.
this point I have two shipping containers on that same plot. Now I'm just going to switch it out for this
Yeah.
structure building. About 2 weeks after having that building up, I got an eviction notice with no warning. Again, this was
Wow.
after weeks of me calling and emailing, no
Yeah.
warning at all. You have to vacate the property in 30 days.
Gosh.
Lawyers were involved and all this thing, and it was scary, because I'm like, man, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
So again, being prayerful, continuing to do the work, not letting the discouragement trap me.
Mhm.
I was able to find another lot, negotiated a good deal, and essentially had to tear that structure down and move it across
Wow.
the street and build it right back up. So I incurred a bunch of costs along with that.
Yeah.
And we made it work for I think a year and a half. We made it work just with that structure on a plot of land, and yeah, that was a really big shakeup. A lot of
Yeah.
lessons learned throughout those interactions with the bank and all those things. And I'm still a member of that bank, so I see the
Are
see the
you? Oh,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
see
So
exactly who evicted me.
so it's no hard feelings. It's just like, okay, I could have done some things differently,
Right.
but the business is still thriving. Now we're in a 6,000 square foot building in Third
Oh,
Ward.
amen.
We've since
Okay.
moved from that barn structure to our own building now, and we'll be there for the next 10 years, locked in
Mm,
with our lease. So, and we have plenty of room to grow and open up new concepts and all those things now. So
right.
it's it's
Mm.
it's working. It's still going.
Sometimes you're pushed further towards your greatness, right? Without you
Absolutely.
knowing, you know. That's amazing. Cause yeah, I would have been stressed out, but then remembering
Oh,
like there's a reason why you had to get out of that contract
yeah.
and then you
Yeah.
got something bigger.
Yeah.
So God works.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you just have to continue to, stay on the path. But with
absolutely.
things like that happening, you maintaining multiple bikes, the demand being so high, how do you protect your mental clarity while carrying responsibility for the brand, your clients, and family?
Yeah, that's obviously a big struggle.
Mhm.
Um, Again, I've had a corporate background, so leading teams and all those things have been something that I've kind of gotten experience in.
Right.
But even with my multiple degrees, these years of corporate experience, nothing will prepare you for entrepreneurship. This is a crazy beast of its own.
Hmm.
I'm seeing new problems every day that I have to solve, and it
Yeah.
is the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Very rewarding, but it's extremely difficult to kind of manage all these things, as well
Yeah.
as my marriage, dealing with my children,
Hmm.
my social life, friendships, and all those things. It's Some things are going to take a hit.
Yeah,
So balancing those expectations, um, giving grace to yourself, giving grace to people around you, it's a learning lesson every single day. So yeah,
for
that's the journey
sure.
I'm on at this point.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people who step out into the entrepreneurial space kind of miss. There's going to be a time where that's the most important thing in your life, and it's very difficult to put everything to the side and have everyone else understand. So that's great that you're balancing it. I see that in a lot of your pictures and stuff. Family is already there with you, so they seem very involved.
Yeah.
And when you think about your household watching you build this, what matters most to you?
The biggest thing is I remember my parents are entrepreneurs,
Hmm.
but we struggled financially. Just full
Hmm.
transparency. Like, yeah, we did not have a very comfortable life. So that always scared me from entrepreneurship. That always scared me from, betting on myself.
Right.
So I want my children to see me, even, I'm not sure how successful this business will be, but doing the work, being diligent, being strategic in thought, bringing in outside wise counsel,
Yeah.
and doing your best every single day. If my children can see these lessons and take from this, and they apply it to their own lives one day, I'm not going to push them to entrepreneurship, but I do want them to see this as an option for themselves, because I feel like having that control, having that something that you're passionate about and that you're able to
Yeah.
pour everything in. I would love for them to be able to see this as an option for them when they grow. And then also, like, my wife is educated and has her career path, but if I'm able to take, our business to the next level, I would love for her to be able to work less and focus
Yeah.
on our kids and focus on her personal goals as well. So, being able to provide that type of lifestyle would be awesome. So, yeah.
I love the way you talk about your family in that way and how they're going to now view entrepreneurship because of what you've set in place now. Has entrepreneurship changed how you define success as a man at this point?
That's a good question. I think that entrepreneurship has mainly pushed me past my limits, pushed
Mm,
me beyond the capacity that I thought that I had,
right.
and it's pushing me into a space to where I can see problems around different industries now, and I'm more cognizant. I feel like I'm more business minded. I'm
Yeah.
more when I go to a restaurant or to a new space or whatever, I'm now like evaluating things.
Yes. Yeah.
It hasn't necessarily like trying to change my character, but it has changed the way I kind of look at the world, and it has
Yeah.
pushed me to become a better version of myself in terms of business for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
I think you
For
gotta
sure.
bring your character in it,
Yeah.
your values, your belief system. I don't think the work that you do will have a lot of, or at least for me, it hasn't had a lot of effect on that part of my personality. But it definitely has opened up my mind to, just the way money works, how
Yeah.
finances work, how business works around these global markets for sure.
And definitely what helps your business stay successful. You're seeing it
Absolutely.
everywhere. Like you said, even when you go to a restaurant, like, okay, well, what about this customer service allows for there to be continuous, revenue, people coming
Yeah.
back, being repetitive customers. So
Yeah.
I definitely agree with you with that. You definitely just look at everything so differently
Absolutely.
everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I want to kind of go back to what you were saying about the history of Houston. So if someone's visiting Houston for the first time, what is your experience show them about the city?
Well, our tours explore Edo, which is east of downtown. That's the gentrified name. I grew up calling it Second Ward, but we experienced Edo, which is the primarily Mexican American community.
Oh,
The
okay.
Hispanics started migrating there in the 40s. They have a rich
Mm.
history in that part of town. That was also where the Houston Astros originally played when they became a team. So there's a lot of sports history there,
Oh,
a lot
nice.
brown pride in that community. Then we also have Third Ward, which is where our base is, and majority of our tours happen in that neighborhood. But Third Ward has a rich history from the Emancipation Ballroom, where a lot of
Mm.
blues and R&B musicians will perform at the top of the top.
Oh, perfect.
From the 50s to the 70s, will perform at Emancipation, excuse me, the El Dorado Ballroom. We also have Emancipation Park, which is where the original Juneteenth celebrations
Yeah.
happen in the city.
Yeah.
There's a
Beautiful.
lot of celebrities like Beyonce from Third Ward. There's a rich history of sports as far as the PABA, where George Foreman used to train at before he fought Muhammad Ali.
Mm.
So we talk about these things on the tour. TSU is obviously, a beacon of light as
Yeah.
one of the HBCUs in Houston. So we talk about it. We actually passed by TSU on our tour.
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
yeah. So it's a lot of this, culture and pride in that neighborhood, and we love celebrating. We love, being in Third Ward. We love bringing people who tourists who have, already have made plans to come to Houston, but they might not come to Third Ward based off of,
Right.
some negative stories that they've heard, being able to show them like the positive light, and where the neighborhood is headed now. There's a lot of
Yeah.
new infrastructure and a lot of new commercial businesses, and it's all black and brown owned, which is great to see. So
Cool. No, that's the most important part.
yeah.
And kind of speaking on that other side of the history of Houston, what does Trill really mean to you beyond the word? And where does that come from? And how is the richness incorporated from Houston into that word?
Yeah. So when I was thinking of the name of the business, it came to me on my first night. I basically spent like 6 hours mapping out like the color scheme, the branding, the
Yeah.
name of the business. We call our hosts trapping captains, all
I
these
love
different things
it.
there.
I love it.
When I was trying to nail down the name of our business, I wanted something that was, when you hear it, you think of hip hop.
Yeah.
And I grew up being a huge UGK fan, and that was
Yes.
one of their,
Let's see. Yes, sir.
absolutely one of their key terms, and all their music was Trill, and it rhymed. It was easy to say, easy to remember.
Yeah.
Trill on wheels, and I'm like, that's it, that's gold. I definitely, make sure there was no trademark infringement and all those
Right.
things.
Yeah. So I was wondering. Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, we moved forward with Trill on Wheels. Was able to get it trademarked ourselves, so that's gonna be our name forever. And yeah, it means a lot to me, because not only does it's a great name in my opinion, but it's also paying homage to a group that really fostered and pushed this Texas
Yeah.
sound globally. So
No,
absolutely.
for sure. No, I love that. I'm so glad, yeah, that that was available. I was like, how did you even get this name?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super catchy. So again, all in alignment with what God said and you
Mhm.
having this idea. So I'm so glad.
Yeah.
And with the, success that you had right away with Trill on Wheels, you, quickly having to get a second bike, you
Mhm.
still moving and grooving. Where do you see Trill on Wheels maybe 5 years from now?
Yeah, I'm excited about the future. This is going to be my I'm a ride this till the wheels fall off,
It
literally.
is.
So so yeah, in the next few years we will be rolling out Trill Vibras, which is our
Mm,
100% Spanish playlist, which is going to feature,
Okay. o-
Reggaeton, Dembo, Carita
Okay.
Salvadas, playing hits from Bad Bunny, Selena, Latin trap artists. There's a lot of Houston,
Yeah.
Hispanic rappers that we're going to be featuring on that playlist as well. Those tours will celebrate our Latin culture here in Houston. 47% of the city is Hispanic. I grew up with a lot of
Wow.
Hispanics. Yeah, I grew up with a lot of Hispanics in my neighborhood. So um, I'm bringing them in to help me design this experience. So hopefully we'll
Oh,
have
that's
that
beautiful.
rolled out in the next few months. But that's going to be huge for the city. But one of the things that I've noticed is, there's a lot of different Hispanic cultures here, from the Colombians,
Yeah.
Peruvians, there's the Puerto Ricans, the Mexicans as well, Brazilians, but there is no single continuous experience that celebrates all these different cultures. So
Mm.
that's the void, that's the gap, and that's what we're going to roll out. So I'm excited about that.
Oh, that's
Um,
beautiful.
Expansion has definitely been in conversation. I've had a lot of money just thrown at me from all different parts of the
That's what I
country
was gonna. Okay.
with folks wanting to franchise the business.
Oh,
That's definitely been in in the back of my mind. I do have a market that we potentially will be expanding to this year. I'm not going to release that yet, but that's going to be on the books for this year in Q3. Um, After FIFA is going to be huge. We're going to have,
yes.
yeah, we're going to have 7 games here in Houston in June. So we're gearing up for that, hoping to
Oh,
partner
yeah.
with the city and do something awesome to, welcome in all these international travel.
Yes. Super smart. Well, you're definitely
And, sort
building
of
a
ride this
business
momentum into
here.
the future.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And this is more
Absolutely.
than just a business. You're definitely building a legacy with everything that you're doing. I know you're speaking about, how you're going to expand. How does scaling look for you while without losing like the authenticity of what, you originally built? Do you have fears of that at
Yeah,
all?
yeah. And I was, almost anti-expansion because I did
Mm,
not want to lose our brand integrity.
yeah,
Um, and franchising does allow us to be able to kind of keep that type of control, but it's going to be some steps to get to that point. I've also thought about potentially us just still owning everything and
yeah.
hiring local rock stars to kind of run the business that in the way that we see that it's going to serve the customer best. So
Mm,
there's 2 different routes we can take there, but that's extremely important. I think that we have our Trill way that
yeah.
is going to be successful in whatever market that we take on. So we want to make sure that there is some continuity if we do decide to expand into different cities for sure.
No, for sure. That's what I think a lot of, because like I said, you own that name. So that's going to be something that definitely pulls in the customers and,
Yeah,
keeping that integrity is definitely something was on my
yeah,
mind. So I'm glad that you have a contingency plan, of course.
yeah.
This is your background, so I love it. I'm learning a lot about marketing from you right now.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely.
and if funding wasn't a limitation at all, what would you build next with this?
Yeah. If funding wasn't an option, now the biggest issue that I have is the bikes that we use are all but one are used. So I'm dependent
Mm,
on the specific bike coming
yeah.
up for sale out of somebody else's fleet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So because just the nature of the party bike business, there's only one like manufacturer.
Right.
So a lot of the party bike builders have gone defunct or they've gone out of the business because from what I've been told, there's not a lot of money in manufacturing. So if I did have like unlimited funding, I would create my own bikes. That would
Yeah.
allow me to scale extremely fast because I wouldn't depend on
Mm,
used bikes, and I also wouldn't have to depend on this one manufacturer to meet our needs. So if I, were able to, just have unlimited funding, I would, create my own bikes based off of our specs, what we need, and I can just plant those in different cities, and we'll be off to the
for
races. But
sure.
yeah,
Well, we're
That
just
would
gonna
be
plant
awesome.
that seed, you know. So
Okay. Yeah,
you already have
yeah,
the plan. It sounds
yeah,
like so.
yeah,
Let's plant
absolutely.
that.
Yeah. But that's if I just had, super deep pockets or a rich grandfather or something, that write that check. That's what I want. For
Right.
sure. Yeah.
Yes, you already have the plan in place.
Yeah.
Now, for our next section, I just we call this kind of our lightning round. Just
Okay.
fun and quick. The first thing that comes to your mind when I say these things, just about what you're building. So our first one is hustle or patience.
Hustle.
Hustle
Hustle.
all day, yes, sir. And Houston or anywhere else.
Houston. Come on.
Staying true, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Risk or security.
Risk. Risk.
Vision or execution.
Execute.
Mm,
Do the
yes.
work.
Quiet grind or loud wins.
Quiet. Quiet.
That's
You don't
that's,
see
that's
me
always
too
smarter.
often.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't see me out in the front too often. I'm not there. There's entrepreneur paths that, I'm gonna be on the front and the business behind me. Like,
Yeah.
no, I push my team, I push the tour experience in front of me. I'm just out here doing the work.
Yes.
I've had my limelight. Those days are
I
done.
feel
So
you on that. Yes. It makes it a lot easier because you're already dealing with so much that's
yeah,
coming to you.
yeah.
Mentor or self-taught.
Mentor,
Definitely necessary. Yes, for sure. Luxury or culture.
culture,
And
culture.
I feel like our culture is luxury, so we're gonna.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Yeah, I think if we remain true to what we're building, remaining true
Yeah.
to the culture, that's what people want. That's what people
Yeah.
want to experience, at least from us. And if you want a luxury experience, for sure, we might not deliver fully on that, but there's other, places to go for that, and we can
Mhm.
kind of supplement what that
This
weekend.
Trill over here. Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
remember that when you sign up.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I kind of like to split play where we are.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Now, with all the songs that you do play, what song defines your work ethic, do you think?
Okay. The first song that comes to mind, I don't, it's not necessarily on our playlist. Our playlist is 100% Houston hip hop. So we play
I
a lot
love
of B
that.
King, a lot of Megan Thee Stallion, Beyonce, UGK.
Okay.
So that's the flavor that we're on. It's more dance party related.
Yeah.
Um, but my favorite rapper of all time is Nipsey Hussle. The album is right here. And a song that comes to mind is Hustle and Motivate.
Yes.
I am the child of an immigrant and a farm worker from Louisiana.
Mm,
I grew up, in the field working hard. That's all I know. Laziness, I'm allergic to it. And
love that.
that's one of the, if I pass tomorrow, I'll be comfortable knowing that I worked my tail off every single day.
Mm,
And I didn't always accomplish all the things that I wanted, but it never was because I didn't hustle and grind for it. So
mm.
hustle and motivate by Nipsey is something that I play every morning. It's my alarm clock song
I
because
love
it
that.
wakes me up and it gets my mindset set on like I'm gonna work hard today. I'm gonna get things done.
Mm.
So yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. Yes. No, I could see that being a song. And also love the setup, by the way. I
Yeah,
love the
I want to do a
vinyls in
little
the
bit
back.
more,
Yeah.
you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But yeah, again, I'm a huge music guy.
Yes.
I'm a DJ, so this is like my little studio setup. I got my turntables over here in the
I
corner, and I
love
got a couple
that.
of my favorite
Okay, so
albums.
it's really in you. Like you were like,
Oh, I
yes, I already
love
love music.
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 Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I've been to 137 concerts, and
Oh, okay.
I got like an Excel list with all my ratings and all that. So I nerd
I
out
need
a
to know what was that? What was on the number one then? What's number one on the? What concert can
Yeezus,
I miss?
the
Oh yeah.
Yeezus, the Yeezus tour.
Dang.
What was that, like 2014 or something like that? That was the most entertaining show. Uh,
Wow.
I'm getting older now, but I still got a little rager in me. So I love seeing Travis Scott perform. That's he puts on. A lot of people don't like his music like that.
Yeah.
I personally
The
do.
show I always see. Yeah.
Oh, it was amazing. That was
The
amazing.
theatrics, all of the
Yeah, I
pyrotechnics,
love
all of
that
it.
type of
Yeah.
stuff. Like blow me
I love
away.
that.
I want to be
Yeah.
blown away.
Yeah,
So yeah,
especially for all the money that we're spending on these shows now. Blow me away.
I,
Yes.
I want to walk away feeling like, what did I just see? So yeah,
Well,
those
I
two
may
are
not. I may not
actually
be able to see Yeezus again, but if I have to go see a concert, who is it?
okay. As of now, okay, Kalani.
Oh, really?
If you can see her,
Okay.
it's not so much of the theatrics, but her voice is so like poetic and beautiful. You close
Okay.
your eyes, you feel like an angel is singing to you. So
I have
that's
to listen more.
she was surprised. I didn't know much about her, but when I saw her
Yeah.
live, I'm like, wow, she can really sing. So
Okay.
I put
I
her up
have
there.
to check her out more. Yeah. I've
Yeah,
only heard like the latest stuff, but I do
yeah,
hear that she has a beautiful voice. Okay.
great,
I'll
great.
keep that in mind because
Yeah,
there's a lot coming to Houston these next few months. So I'm sure
yeah,
I'll be out there for a
yeah.
concert.
That's a lot.
Now, before I let you go, we always ask our last signature questions of our guests. It's a little thought provoking, so we like to give you time. But if you could give a title to your memoir of your journey thus far, what would it be and why?
That's pretty easy.
Is it?
God,
Okay.
yeah. But God plus grit, anything is possible.
Ooh, God plus grit. All right. Why are we naming our memoir that?
Well, for one, I believe that a good faith system in God and partnering with Him in everything that you do will take you further than you can ever imagine.
Mm, yeah.
And then that grit, being able to be unstoppable, being able to face your fears and take them head on and not be slowed down by 'em, taking life by control and controlling your own
Mm,
destiny as much as you can, making mistakes and being okay with it, but keeping the
mm,
movement and keeping the momentum, and just having grit,
mm,
not allowing those roadblocks to stand in your way, just pushing through it and being having a persevering nature. I
yeah.
think you can do a lot of things that you never thought through. So that's just my like
That's
my mantra
beautiful.
for sure. And I got it. It's somewhere on my arms, but yeah,
Oh,
God
do you
plus
have a
grit.
title? Okay. Yes. A daily
Yeah.
reminder. I love
Oh
that.
yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
Well, then I never asked this, but follow up question because you did
Okay.
have that very quickly. So, what chapter in that book are you currently on, or are you currently writing? Even would you say?
Mm, what chapter? So I mean, I'm 40. I just hit my 40th birthday, so I guess I'm at my at my halfway point. I've lived a
Yeah.
lot of life prior to being married and having two small children. So that's what I've done in my past, and now
Yeah.
it's focusing on developing my marriage, developing my children,
Yeah.
really having an impact on Houston music, and Houston culture. And I have a team of 24 young adults pouring
Oh,
into
beautiful.
them, being a mentor and a big bro to them, and inspiring them to be our city's next batch of leaders.
Yeah.
That's what I'm focusing on. I've spent a lot of time focusing on myself and pouring into me, and whatever my heart desired, going after those things. This
Yeah.
next half of my life is about service
Mm,
and maybe being there for everybody else and inspiring and motivating and teaching all that I can.
yeah.
And that's what my legacy I want it to be about. I want it to be about when people come to my services, when God calls me home, I want people to say they learned something from me. That would be
Mm.
awesome. So
Beautiful. Yes. Well, Jonathan, thank you for showing us what it looks like to build something with culture, family, and purpose at the center. This conversation reminds us that entrepreneurship isn't just about profit, it's about movement, responsibility, and of course, like you said, legacy. To everyone watching, if you're in Houston, tap into Trill on Wheels, support local, of course, support this vision. It's amazing, and
yeah.
support purpose. If I could, Jonathan, just have you give like an outro, let us know how to reach you, how to book, and anything that's next on the books for you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Brittany, for having me. And I wish I
No
would have been
problem.
able to meet your sister as well.
Yeah,
But thank y'all so much. Blessings to you and your grind and your
thank you.
journey. And I hope this podcast goes far as you can take it.
Thank you so
But
much.
yeah, everybody can reach out to us at Trill on Wheels on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. All things at Trill on Wheels, no spaces, no hyphens, and trillonwheels.com to book your tour. If you got a birthday coming up, if you got a bachelorette party, if you got a big life event, you leaving your man, you got a new man, come on through and celebrate with us.
I love it. Thank you. And as always, we'll see you next time on Sister Soul Sessions, where we elevate entrepreneurs one soulful conversation at a time. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you so much, Jonathan. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.